I'm Jonathan Alexander, archaeological investigator and producer of Mystic Places Magical Mystery Tour. During my documentary filmmaking and archaeological investigations in Peru, I've had the opportunity to personally examine many of the biological specimens and archaeological artifacts related to the case of the Nazca Tridactyl Mummies discovered in a cave near Palpa, Nazca Peru. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at one of those biological specimens, a Nazca Tridactyl mummy loose head. In this video and the following videos, we'll be re-examining some of these artifacts.
In this video, we are going to be making a topical examination of a non-human biological specimen, one of the loose heads of the tridactyl beings allegedly discovered by Mario in a Diotomea cave in Palpa, Peru near the Petroglyphs of Chichatara. This loose head is just one of many biological specimens and artifacts discovered by a man commonly referred to as Mario. However, during our investigations throughout 2019 and 2020 in Nasca, we befriended him, getting to personally know him as Leandro Benedicto Rivera Sarmiento, a humble mine worker and villager of the small community of Palpa located just outside Nazca Peru, a close distance from the ever-famous and enigmatic Nazca lines and geoglyphs. This is the actual site, located in Palpa, Peru, being where, in 2016 Mario accidentally happened upon the discovery of a small cave, packed with diatomaceous earth, containing strange stones and artifacts with mysterious markings, along with a number of extraordinary, non-human biological specimens that have become famously known as the Nazca Tridactyl Mummies. In 2019, archaeological investigator Jonathan W. Alexander ventured to the site of discovery of the Nazca Tridactyl Mummies located in Palpa with discoverer Leandro Benedicto Rivera Sarmiento, better known as Mario Peruano. Subsequently publishing the first ever released video of exploration of the Diotomea cave and the first exclusive interview with the discoverer Mario for what has become the most viewed episode of Mystic Places Magical Mystery Tour. This video is part of a new series of episodes of Mystic Places Magical Mystery Tour, where we will be re-examining in English the fascinating case of the Nazca Tridactyl Mummies. Please remember to subscribe and give a like to this video and leave your comments below and let us know your thoughts on this fascinating case and the specimen we are examining today.
Today we're going to be taking a look at one of these so-called tridactyl Nazca mummy heads. See here, it's a quite detailed specimen. Some people try to make out that these are heads constructed from llamas or alpacas. Well, from everything I've looked at, that doesn't seem to be so. In this video here, we're going to be taking a look at one of these real close in an undisclosed laboratory location, giving you a close-up look at some of the features here. As you can see, quite detailed. I don't see how anybody could fake this. Just the details on the eyelids. I mean, you can see that it looks like that there was a liquid type filled eyeball underneath. What remains that you're seeing is the opening slits and the eyelid covers. Look at this, the detail here on the corners of the eyelids. And look at this. This is what's really fascinating to me that nobody's ever pointed out. It appears here that these specimens have some sort of a duct, like a duct at the corner of the eye that would have maybe moistened the eye or sprayed some sort of a poison. I mean, we don't know. You know, there's some lizards that spray some types of poison from their eye, or maybe it's just for moistening the eye. I mean, I don't know. But see, you can see here there's one on both sides. If somebody was going to fake this, I don't see how they would think to put these ducts in them. There's little holes here you can see in the corners of both of the eyes. I'll highlight it here so that you can see it better on this side, on the left-hand side of the head. And you can see in these reconstructions Even here, an artist seemed to represent these ducts in the corners of the eyes. Amazes me as to how somebody would have known about this when it's never even been mentioned by biologist Jose de la Cruz Rios Lopez or anybody else that there have been any kind of ducts discovered in the corners of the eyes. But you can see here both of the corners of the eyes. Here you see on the right hand side of the head the duct. Right here, look at this. Quite impressive. I mean, I've never seen anybody even point this out before. Don't know that anybody's ever really examined one of these in quite such detail. When I had an opportunity to take a look at this head in a laboratory setting, I removed some of the diatomaceous dirt that it had on it with a small brush to be able to get a better look at it. See, the whole form of the head appears completely to be a single piece. It doesn't seem to be altered or have any type of sutures or stitching. And here I'm going to give you a little bit of an idea of what size it is. Some measurements. About 12 centimeters long. About 6.5 centimeters wide. Okay, you're going to look at the mouth. Mouth and nose and the eyes. It's completely covered in an intact skin without any type of sutures or lines or any way that it could have been pasted on or anything. Now here we're going to clean off an area here and show you under microscope. Here I took a shot or two of this with the microscope to show you up close exactly what the skin looks like. It seems to have this kind of fibrous type structure to it. Very thick and a complete membrane covering the entire surface of the specimen. And you can see the foramen magnum is square. Take a better look at that in just a moment. Just look at it. It's quite amazing. It's completely a complete biological piece. I don't see how this could be made out of a llama or alpaca head at all. I don't even see how somebody could construct this. It's so detailed. Look at this. And there's an implant here on the top, but along the edge of the implant, this kind of concerns me. There's this red fiber. Not sure if this red fiber is ancient. It seems to be embedded in it, just like you can see how here at the edge of the implant, the skin meets it and is grown and grafted into it, like it's healed over around the edge of the implant. This implant seems to be some sort of metal, kind of like tumbaga maybe, some sort of early pre-Hispanic indigenous metal. It definitely looks like it's in the skin. It looks like the skin's healed in quite well around it. These are some metal pieces that Mario or Leandro Rivera also found in the cave. These are quite interesting, and there's many of these that he found as well. But you see that the metal and the appearance of it is very similar to that of the implant that's in this head of Apu, as well as some of the others, such as the ones that are being examined at the university in Ica. These are a type of tumbaga as well, a mix of copper, gold, and silver, most likely. Some of them seem to be even made out of gold and then plated in silver, which is quite unusual. I'll give you a little bit better look at this implant here. I mean, wow, look at that. Look at the back of the head here. Give you a good look at this. Completely organic, very symmetrical. Look at the bottom. Quite an impressive specimen. Every one of these that I've looked at appears to be completely a singular intact specimen. I've had the chance to look at multiple specimens of hands and heads and some of the complete bodies from this case, and I don't see how that any of them could be manipulated really, or see any evidence of manipulation. You see here, I give you a good look around the foramen magnum. Square, unlike that of humans. But you can see some of the skin from the head has flapped over into the foramen magnum hole. I mean, that's what would happen if you jerk the head off of a being of some kind, you know? And that's what these remind me of. It's kind of like a dried frog or a dried lizard that you find in the drive when they've dried in the sun. That's exactly what these beings look like, is the dried reptiles that you would see in the have dried in the sun or the desert. But it's quite common that they collected heads. They were known trophy collector heads in Nasca. That's what they would do. There's many of them in museums in Nasca. They have these trophy heads because it was quite a thing back then to take the head of your enemy, and the more heads you had, the more powerful you were. So I can only imagine if somebody encountered such a being as this and wanted to snatch their heads as well and collect them. Mario says there was about 15 to 20, 25 heads. Some of them got broken, he said. Many of them, have been passed off or sold on the internet. Various locations, I believe, by now. I zoom in here and I can show you very closely the bottom of it. And you can see the skin's not even really complete here around the foramen magnum. It's just kind of some skin residue. Here you can see the bone inside. It's definitely quite old bone. If it is made out of the head of a camelid, like a alpaca or a llama, it's definitely created from old bone specimens. But I don't see how you would do that without destroying it. Also the age, just the complete age that it seems to have. The skin seems to have the same age. You can see here around the hole where the skin flaps into the hole and is dried, but you can also see that there's just aging to the skin that is exactly the same as the aging to the bone. Look at its form. It looks like, it reminds me from looking at it at the top of a tortoise. Kind of like a tortoise or something. It's kind of the way the mouth plates remind me too. The plate on the bottom of the mouth where it opens, the joining in it. It's kind of like that of a tortoise shell. And look at that. It looks like an organic specimen completely. Very symmetrical. I just don't see how you would fashion this and fashion these eyes out of a llama head. I get the idea, and I see the similarities with Dr. Raimundo's example. The video I recently published, he explains this very well. But there's many differences. And there's similarities, yes, but many differences. And this is a specimen of Josephina. I'll just show you so that you get a good idea of some of the different features of the head. And this is what a full specimen looks like, a CT scan. It shows what one of the heads looks like attached to the entire body of Josephina, which is very similar. He said he found around 25 bodies and about 15 to 25 heads, I believe is what he said. Many of these specimens have implants and about 10, 15 little hands. And I've seen many of these, and all the little hands are quite remarkable as well. We'll show those in an upcoming video. Since 2019, as an archaeological investigator and filmmaker, I've had the opportunity to personally investigate a lot of aspects of this fascinating case of the Nazca Tridactyl Mummies here in Peru, in person myself. I became friends with Leandro Rivera, the discoverer, and have visited multiple times at his home, and I've been to the cave site of the discovery of this fascinating find. I've also examined many of the artifacts and many of the biological specimens relating to this case. In my investigations of these interesting pieces in this find, I've had the opportunity to examine and film and photograph many of these very, very fascinating, to say the least, artifacts. And I'm going to be presenting them in a new series of Mystic Places Magical Mystery Tour episodes, in which in English we'll be taking a look at these artifacts and specimens in a very up-close way and discussing these things. And also we're going to be going over the case and some of the videos that I've previously published, like the interview with Leandro Rivera, and my exploration of the Diotomea cave in Palpa, and many other videos that I'm going to be presenting soon. So please be sure to give us a like and follow us, and if you will, click on the PayPal donation link below and drop us a small donation. Your donations help keep us going and making many more fascinating archaeological documentaries like this one, and the ones that you've been seeing recently in the field, exploring archaeological sites, Inca, pre-Inca sites, petroglyphs, and we'll have many more fascinating episodes coming to you in the next few months. Thank you for watching.